Okay, what's up, everyone? We're back. One second. Oh no. Okay, so one thing I want to focus on today is just waiting for a really obvious 30-minute or an hour swing failure pattern before I start wanting to enter. So, some examples of that would be this 1500 candle would have been good. This is Monier's 3 a.m. candle, 1300 candle, 1900 candle, 3 o'clock candle. They tend to happen at the same time a lot. They tend to happen around 1800, 1900, 3 o'clock a.m. and 9:30. Uh, so I'm gonna really focus on trying to stay on the higher time frame. This gold looks pretty money right here, actually. Uh, but I don't want to try to front run it too much because I mean, as much as we talk about open, high, low, close on a 30-minute hour candle, we can have open, high, low, high, low, high, low, close, and it's something that can really easily get you stopped out. But this looks pretty good on gold and silver for a potential short right now. I also actually really like MNQ on the 4 hour. If we come up to 50% of this wick and reject, I like that as a short, potential short. I like how we jumped up really quick. So I'm going to draw a zone here. See, we're right at 50% of that zone rejecting. So that's something to keep in mind. We took liquidity right here, but I could see us honestly jumping up higher too. And everything's been so bullish that I'm very careful to short. But if I do take a short, it'll be in and out pretty quick. And look at the oh my gosh, bro, why? Well, I should have front ran it. Massive, massive move from gold. The the amount of just insane moves in the precious metals has been crazy. Look at this move down. Holy shit. Now trying to get in this with more than a single micro is pretty much asking to get wiped out, depending on what account size you're using. See, I'm already jumping to the 1 minute. Let's back to the 30. Oof. Massive move. The tough thing about the 30-minute and the hourly on gold and silver right now is that they're moving so much. If you enter after a 30-minute candle, your stop loss may be so wide that even with a single micro, you're risking thousands of dollars. So we're gonna have to look for an entry on the 1 minute, most likely if we're gonna enter in either of those, but kind of outside worry about it too much right now. Just kind of watching. Beautiful. I really wish I would have taken that. That was too clean not to take. But I was a little bit late and I was a pussy. Bottom line. Early in the day, it's tough to jump in and like, oh, see, that's what I should always do though, because anytime I jump on the chart and I immediately see something that's like screaming my name, I should enter it. And I've got to train myself to do that because it's not easy to do. Because that first trade, you're like, okay, don't screw this up. Don't take a loss right off the bat, and it can be a little bit difficult. So, but if we can get a move back up here, into this zone, then we can look for short. I'm actually gonna try and copy trade all this because let me jump off here real quick, guys. So I'm a little bit delayed. Hmm. And even a 5 minute would have just been freaking beautiful there. That's too easy. Those are the kind of that's really like this is my A plus setup right here. Trade exactly into 50% of the zone. That candle had been uh, a black candle and printed a swing failure pattern there. It's like that's A plus 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 plus. So I would have entered here with my stop loss 7.5. I mean that's I know this is like hindsight right now. It was a little bit slow, but I mean it's an easy. It's probably gonna run for a lot. Just seeing how price is moving right now. Tempted also to look at ES. Golly. It's one of the tough things about trading that like people don't necessarily talk about a lot is being uh, you know when you actually when you have a system and you see it and it's perfect and somehow you don't take it, it 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 can really mess your psychology up because then you want a trade and I'm not going to see my perfect trade. You just you're pissed off at missing and it can be really difficult. So maybe you start seeing things a little bit less conservatively and seeing maybe something you wouldn't normally take, and all of a sudden you're going to take it, and then you take a loss, and then you're pissed, and then it can be a real can really screw you up. So I'm a little bit distracted. Alright, let's get a move up on NQ and then straight to the basement. I want to just short right here. How much? 60 point. There's another problem I have is I want to chase price. But why do that? Because our RR, you need 90 points to get a 2R trade there. Not worth it. I really like to take profit trader hasn't restricted the metals yet. My personal account obviously hasn't, and Apex is. So if I try and take a trade right now on TPT, it's not gonna copy to my Apex account anyway. But really on Apex, all I want is a small gain because I'm way up, but my consistency is kind of jacked. So I pretty much just need like 5 or 6 days making a few $100s each, and then I can take another payout. But I had one day it was like 2 grand, so kind of screwed things up. And then I took a loss another day that also screwed things up. But I'm almost $10,000 up on that account right now, so I should be getting payouts regularly through them. I just need to play it very safe and not F around and find out. This is what I want here. I literally called like 3 things at the beginning of the stream. I called 50% of that wick, and then price going lower. That's an easy 2R trade at minimum. I said don't front run the MGC, but I mean, you could see right when I talked about that, we dropped another 70 points on gold. Watching the swing failure patterns, looking for zone entries, the 50% point of the zone. These are all areas that, I mean, it's almost incredible how accurate these things are, and how, I mean, it doesn't make trading so hard. I mean, you can know exactly where price is going to go. You can know exactly. Someone could tell you what it's going to do ahead of time, and trading is still difficult because your mind is fighting against you the entire time. But when you see the same patterns repeat, when you see the same areas get to the tick hit, and then I like this on silver a lot. If this right here had hit the red line, and we got this reaction candle, this hammer candle here, I'm longing this. Now we're a little short. I still think this is probably, I mean, it's make you a ton of money still, but let's see, we swept out. Oh, let's see. Yeah, that's gonna be. It's a nice. I mean, even just that is a pretty nice little trade. Gotta stay patient. Can't let. I mean, you can call price, but trading is another thing. And seeing what's gonna happen, knowing what's gonna happen, putting your money online is completely different. So I'm here. I'm trying to be really patient. I'm trying to be. I really want to spend more time streaming. So even not taking trades and just talking through what I think is going to happen is really beneficial. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on. And when we see a trade that is like too good to pass up, that's when I got to keep these on the 30 minute because I am going to keep screwing up if I don't. Duplicate. 'That's why this kind of trade I would like take and then probably try and hold for way too long and get crushed. When it's much better to wait until one of these 50% gets hit because you can get the reaction and then it gets completely traded through because you're not at an actual level for price to really make a move from. Let's see right here. 5 minute looks really good. Okay, we're coming up we're 5 minutes away from the 30-minute candles, and we are looking bearish. That's not to say. I mean, look, big moves upward lately. So any short has got to be taken with caution because it can get easily wiped out. So thinking about taking a short, I'm thinking that you know my take profit is not going to be super crazy far away. I'm going to take most of my trade off aggressively, and then you know hold on to a little bit, maybe for a little further away target, but not going crazy. And that's one thing that I'm talking through it now, but in the heat of the moment, once I put a trade on and it goes my way and it goes my way fast, it's like hold, hold for longer. It's gonna go for thousands of dollars, and then before you know it, you're up 500, 600. Don't take profit, and you get wiped out in like 2 1 minute candles. That's how fast price is moving right now. As fast as it goes your direction, it's going to reverse, and so have to keep that in mind at all times. Like nothing is promised. Anytime, my, and I paid for this last night severely. Anytime you want to take a screenshot, this I kind of like long here. Anytime you want to take a screenshot and think you're cool, think you're up, just beware because you're about to pay the fucking price and probably get taken out. So we're only wicking these 30% right here. I like that. And then gold has gone down to the 70% and is only wicking the 50%. It's not having a candle closure past the 50% of this zone. And see how exact that is? I mean, that's kind of crazy. like this 5 minute swing failure they just put in right there. Um, I'm not going to take this really because it's on silver and I just don't. I'm really liking this move on M&Q right now. And we're so bearish, it's like, am I going to try to tempt fate right now and go against the prevailing trend? Probably not the best idea right this second. Alright, I'm setting up an alarm so every 30 minutes I remember got 3 minutes till the next 30-minute candle breaks. I want to short M&Q. Really, really want to see a move back up to this zone. Thing is, if it happens too strongly right here, it's going to jack up my 30-minute candle, and this may not. It may not be as good of a looking short as we thought. Got our silver. What's that looking like? A strong move, but still lower lows or higher lows. So it's kind of risky. But yeah, let's go. Get it. Other things I like is equilibrium. So anytime price is going your direction, you want to see it come up to around 50%. And like guys like T Trades will talk about how if it's really moving, then price is not going to reach that. So in this case, if price is extremely bearish, it might just dump right here because it's not even strong enough to get to equilibrium and make that move up. But I don't know. We'll see. This is about to be a new 30-minute candle. Alert. Guys. That's a nice trade right there. I mean, this even like it's just a nice trade. Not not being too worried about. Look at the 15-minute right there. That's a great closure. But so the 15-minute looks good, but the 30-minute doesn't look good because the chance of this going straight up is pretty low. Right at 30, we're just dropping. Fuck. Don't really have the balls to just enter at the start of the 30-minute candle. Yeah. So that's one you got to be careful because we are most likely going to come take this low. So taking profit really, really quickly. The fact we just swept this out. Now we're, you know, gold's dropping pretty quick. See if this prints a white candle through the doji. If not, I would say this is possibly actually a short right here. So that's one where it's like the 5-minute, 15-minute look pretty good, but the 30-minute looks so bad. Fuck, that's a pretty good entry there because of this. Yikes. But yeah, I don't know. See what this 1-minute candle does. Now, you could just enter at 50%. The problem with that is I found it becomes tough to trust the zones because when you're wrong, you get run through so fast, and then you're second guessing yourself. When you wait for price to hit that and then give a reaction, it becomes quite a bit easier to just feel better about yourself, and you can have a smaller stop, a much smaller stop loss. Uh, and if that stop gets hit, oftentimes it's just sweeping out that liquidity, kind of like this. Like so, if you entered, say you were okay, I thought this was close enough, and you get this big reaction downward candle, you enter, you have a 2R trade right there. But say it comes up, say you take most of your profit there, but then it comes back up and takes you out, stops you out. But then you get the exact same reaction, 50%. That's a sweep. That's a super easy re-entry, and then you're going for another 2-3R, and you really didn't lose a whole lot because your stop losses. I mean, this is 15 points. This is 8 points, but those stops are not huge at all. Where's the 4 hour? How I just said this right when we started. Almost got to. Okay, I was a little bit off then. We didn't quite get there, but I quickly switched to the 1 minute and show the zone. And how we draw the zones is whatever. So this is the lowest point that we closed beyond. So that's why I'm measuring this. That works for me really, really well. These little zones also usually are pretty important. A lot of times price will come and sweep that zone and trade into, it'll trade right up here and then reject, and that's another entry I really, really like. Some of the guys I've learned from are, there's a guy AFOP who speaks, he's pretty much does all the stuff in Spanish, but it's got AI translation and subtitle, but he learned a lot from like DTFX, and but really he's his own, like he's just been trading forever, so the guy just knows how to read price, and it's tough to understand all the YouTubes, but really, really kind of advanced, I think, but super helpful. Let's see what happens here. So we did sweep out that 30 minute. Sometimes SMT here. I don't really look at SMT very much at all. I think if you want to take a trade, I if I want to take a trade, I can always find it somewhere. I It's always there, and I just I don't know if it's a real thing or not. Fuck. Okay, not quite where I see it. I see us still moving around up here a little bit. Now, this is the question, and this is something I don't 100% know yet. If we come up here to this 50% of this zone, do we am I willing to take a trade here, or since there's an unmitigated zone above, do I wait for price to come up here? And that is all based on, you know, the velocity, how fast price is moving, how bearish am I, how, you know, because a lot of time, I mean, when we're with the big moves, it leaves the shit behind. Like it doesn't matter. It just leaves all that behind and just keeps going lower. But I think if you enter here, all this liquidity here, it's a little more nerve wracking and a little less certain. Let's look at our silver. What's that doing? I mean, this is just when you think price is gonna go up from here, this is a little bit too much consolidation. Like uh, just that much consolidation. It's like if we were gonna move up, it price is gonna move. So I feel like we're gonna keep going down. Kind of like this entry short right here on gold to go lower. It just looks bearish as hell right there. We're too late. Okay, I'm going to be very, very careful about this because if this gets hit and doesn't go my way immediately, I'm just going to close. Because we're still in this consolidation. I don't want to just lose like $500 right off the bat. I don't like it. That's not really. I can't say this is like my. This is more just candle by candle trying to catch a move, and I don't like that. This looks a little better. Eh. Really small stop. Got hit. It's alright. Kind of expected that, but let's see if we move up here. So we push a big down candle like that. We've been so bullish. We print a big 30-minute swing failure pattern down, and then we start looking like we're reversing here. That gets me thinking we're going to go higher. Because a lot of times when these, I mean, unless you're just going to straight consolidate here, the fact you get such a strong move after taking liquidity right there is kind of telling. So I'm going to be pretty careful about wanting to take a short here. Probably shouldn't have entered that. It was too high. Wasn't right at. Wasn't a reaction right from 50%. It just didn't. Um, you know, didn't quite look right to me. And honestly, that's what so much of this is like seeing the same things over and over again and trusting yourself to make the call of like, okay, that doesn't look right, or that looks really good. I'm taking it, and building the confidence to execute in the heat of battle. Really, well, like normal, if I just stuck with my original idea, it looks pretty good. But as so many times, outthink things and trick myself into not taking a trade or exiting early, thinking too much. Really, all the thinking should be done pre entering the trade, and then once you're in the trade, you should really kind of stop thinking. Walk away if you have to. If I have to. Um, and see what happens here. This is really just pretty much equilibrium. Just rip through the zone. Pretty good on ES. I just didn't like that, it's a white. If this is. ES looks better. But I really, really don't ever execute on ES. Obviously, this was the correct. And that's, that is correct, but just the way it looked. Let's see what happens here. Kind of a brutal start today for me just because I'm calling this shit and then I'm not executing on it. That's okay because I'm not used to streaming and I know it's helping me to talk through this, but it may take my brain a little while till I'm like comfortable with um, talking and then being able to punch the trade in at the same time and trust myself there. And that's fine. So that did not. Mm-mm, 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 mm. XUR, really nice trade. I talked about where I wanted to see price go and what I want to see it do, and I didn't execute on it. I didn't do anything. How is this? Crazy. Fuck. Is this a trade I want to lose 250 bucks on? Would I be comfortable with that? How about 190? I am because this 5 minute looks pretty good. We still haven't hit a bullish zone, so I feel like we could trade down here at a minimum. It's gonna be tough to measure actually. Yeah, we'll see. Uh, Sweet, dude. What's up, Hunter? Did you just get on? I really missed this trade on Nasdaq. Ooh. I feel like kind of trying to chase here. I really want to just close this trade because I'm not loving it now, but I also kind of just need to stick with it uh, because I'll kill myself if it goes my direction right after I close it. Strong move from Nasdaq there. Definitely more pressure when someone's watching. It's crazy because like as soon as you said you were watching, I'm like, bro, oh, I'm like feeling sick almost. So it's good. It's so good because I think that's like it'll help me a lot in the long run. Really want to see us come down and take this 30-minute low. So this 30-minute candle on gold. Okay, so on gold, this 30-minute candle is super super bearish. We came up and swept this high and then just closed completely down. And then the fact that the next 30-minute candle opened high. Uh, Usually these candles they sweep one side or the other. They don't just open in the middle and then go up higher like out of nowhere. Usually what would happen is this next candle would come down, take this low, and then maybe it would go higher. But for it to open high, go up some, and then start heading lower after that is a pretty good sign that it's open high, low close candle. So it's going to open high and then it's going to crash down further. So that's kind of one of the things I was banking on. And then also, if you measure this out, if you measure this 30-minute candle out, the Fibonacci retracement 0.618 is exactly what we hit. And as soon as we hit that, we rejected. And I find that number, when it's that exact, it's often pretty accurate. And we are inside of we are inside of a little zone here. I don't know. This could still get run through, but let's see. So like it's not exactly being a little bit impatient with this, but with how bearish we are and how fast gold moves right now, I could see this being ended up being a really big trade, and the risk or reward I feel like is pretty high. So kind of willing to take the risk on it, and it's hard to hold. It's hard to that's awesome. Yeah, that's gotta be nerve wracking, Hunter. That's gotta be rough. Okay, so we're about to have another 30-minute candle. Don't super love being in this trade when a new hourly candle opens because it tends to be a huge spike in just tends to be a huge spike as soon as a candle opens. It can just take you out immediately, and so kind of scary. But I'm gonna get ready to take some profit to make sure I don't. If it does move quickly, I don't miss taking profit and then get taken out immediately afterward. This is looking not super like I want it to look, but God, I have to remember though that this, I'm in a trade now, and basically my brain stopped working as soon as I got in the trade. It just becomes very difficult to, you know, I saw what I saw. This 15 minute looks really good. The 15 minute looks great. 5 minute looks great. Um, if I get stopped out, that's fine because I feel like this is a good trade, and I would take this and be happy with it, win or lose. So this is what I meant though with the hourly. Fuck! I knew this shit was gonna happen. Okay, got stopped out. It's all good. So kind of where I'm at with that is a lot of times if I want to get out of a trade like that, and I will do it, and then it ends up going in my direction like right afterward. So I'm trying to really make force myself to stick with a trade and not just second guess it and not micromanage a trade once I'm in it. So I have to build up the tolerance to saying, okay, I'm in it. This is gonna probably go my direction now after it stopped me out. So now once I'm in it, I have to stick with it, and it's gonna suck sometimes. I'm gonna lose sometimes, and I'm gonna think, oh, I should have closed. I should have done something different. But the bottom line is that once a decision's made and the risk is taken, I have to just stick with it. Okay, so Hunter, when you ask what the signals are, so like I'll show you. This is a trade I called earlier in the stream that worked perfectly. I didn't take it because I wasn't quite ready. But so what I'm looking for is I look for zones. So it's like they call it supply and demand zones. And different people make these completely differently. So if you could look at one person's YouTube or one person that's teaching, they could show something and say, "This is my supply and demand zone." It could be completely different than this. But what I look for is so we've got the up candles and down candles. So once this big up move right here from this swing point to that swing point, once that gets traded through to the downside, this becomes a zone. So the way I draw it is I take this tool and I draw the zone, and 50% of these zones right in the midpoint is extremely sensitive. So if I see price come up and tap that 50% and then put in a strong reaction like it did here, like this is a 5 minute candle, but on the 1 minute, I mean, and the fact that this high right here, it got swept. So this high went above this high, touched the 50% exactly, and then rejects. So right there, as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is a short, but wasn't ready to take the trade yet. But this is pretty much what I'm looking for all day is these zones to get created, and then I wait till price hits the 50%, and then I look for a reaction, and if it I've seen it so much that I some of that's part of it that is it's kind of up to me at that point. They're not always super obvious. So this is another one that happened. So this big up move right here gets traded down through pretty much. So once that happens, draw another zone here. So this is the lowest low that got closed below. So this low didn't get it got wicked, but it didn't get closed. I hope this makes sense. It will over time if not. But so that's how I draw the zone. Zone gets hit right at 50%, puts in a strong reaction here. So that's another potential short. Keep my stop loss at the high and then take profit. I mean, that's 2R. So if you risk $100, you're making 200, and it went as far as 3R. So that's, risk 100 to make 300. Pretty good. So pretty much what I look for is price to hit either a zone or a point of interest. Like, so previous days high and low, like I mark those off a lot of times, and there's just certain levels on the chart that price tends to react from, and set those levels up. Like I said earlier, the trade I took earlier is because it was at the Fibonacci, the 61618. So I'll show you that real quick. So a lot of times price, this is just another way to look at it. So after this move down, price comes up, it hits the 6.618 exactly, then puts in a reaction and then goes down. So that's just another way to do pretty much the same thing. Instead of using a zone, you could use the Fibonacci sequences. That's what the trade I just took and lost on. That's why I took it. It hit the 618 exactly, put in a good reaction, started to go down. I entered, but I didn't think about the fact a new 1 hour candle was about to open. So every hour, a new hourly candle opens on the hourly chart, and that just tends like right on the hour. Every hour there tends to be a lot of volatility, and so it's easy if you're in a trade and it's maybe you just entered and your stop loss is right there. Price can move really quick and just take you out. And that's exactly what happened to me. So I knew that was a possibility. But on the other hand, the possibility is I like this a lot too because it just hit 50% of this hourly candle. That's another kind of area I look for. 50% of like anything. You measure different swings in price, just the candles themselves even, and like 50% of that, the midpoint of anything on the chart almost tends to have some kind of reaction. And I don't know exactly why that is, but probably because it's all like 70% of everything is algorithmic trading. It's, you know, computers that are making most of these trades. And so I think they're programmed in some way that, you know, once price gets there, then the other program starts to sell, and it just knows that, it knows where equilibrium is. And this is another example. So the zone here would have been from this point to that point, because you wouldn't measure from there because there wasn't a closure below that low. So you go up to the next swing point right there, measure that 50%. So that one didn't quite hit 50%. This one hits it and gives this good reaction candle right there. So you could have stop loss there, and then just keep your take profit wherever you want it to. These are all trades I should be taking, but I'm talking so much and I'm like, it's tough to do both at the same time. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how that makes sense. Does any of that make sense? Okay, you said you got it, so sweet. And I can send you like some more videos and stuff of people explaining this. It's This is the simplest way I found that I can understand it, and uh, I just find it's very, very accurate, and it's yeah, it's what I've kind of been drawn to. I've tried like every single style. I've gone through so many different people's like mentorships, and paid for courses, watched hours and hours and hours of people teaching, and like really just kind of picked out two or three things that are simple to me and obvious that I can see really well in the chart and that stick out to me, and those are the things I trade with now, and I try and just eliminate everything else. So on Nasdaq, since this just closed, this is about to close below this one. Once that, we'll see if that happens. But right now, so far, this is the new zone. I knew that was gonna happen. Fuck. So on this trade on gold that I took, I should have been more patient and waited for that hourly candle, and then waited for this to happen, and then maybe look to go short there. But we're also, I mean, it could just be going up and up and up, because gold has been doing that lately, even after a big drop. So could easily end up being wrong too. But I'm kind of avoiding jumping in another trade too quick now, because it's one of my big one of the things that's most difficult for me is if I lose, I want to get back in and get my money back, and then I start taking trades that aren't 100% within my system and what I want to see. So this is helping me a lot to just talk through it, and there's plenty of time to trade. The market's open 23 hours a day, and tomorrow morning and then tonight I'll go to a meeting here at 8 o'clock. There's a pretty good meeting, so I'll probably jump off here in a little bit, and then uh, do that, and then maybe look at the charts again before I go to bed, and then hopefully in the morning again too. But I try not to stay on for too, like, after about an hour and a half. I'm I start not trading as well. So this zone is now from here to here, because that is the swing. These swing points have been closed through. There's like 10 trades I should have taken today, and I pretty much held back on all of them. This is the other thing that I'm looking for a lot is on the higher time frame. So if I go to the 4 hour chart, this kind of like earlier in the stream I talked about this. I saw this as soon as the market opened. So this 4 hour candle, from this is the end of the market. The way it it went up and then closed down in like that, and it put this kind of like doji pattern after a big move up. Like I'm expecting price to continue down after that. It's pretty rare for that to get put in and then price just trades straight through it. You can see the same thing happen at 10 o'clock today. This is the 6 to 10 4 hour candle. So price went down, it swept out the previous low, and then it closed back inside really strongly. And then right after that, the next candle just runs. So I'm looking at the high time frame to look for this pattern in just more of a generic way to pick what direction I want price to go. And then once I know the direction, I can go down to the 1 minute and start looking for a smaller zone to enter from so that my stop loss is pretty tiny at that point. Because if I try to enter on the 4 hour and I've got a 70 point stop on the NASDAQ, uh, that's a lot. I'm going to have a very, very small position size, or I'm going to get liquidated. And it's just a lot of when the stop's that wide and it goes against you, it's a lot mentally to take. So that's putting those two things together. That's basically my entire system. Like I look at the higher time frame, look for a swing failure pattern to happen, and then I drop down to the 1 minute and look for entry at a supply and demand zone and target 2R. So I really just trade zone to zone. So I look, so if I enter at this zone at 50%, then I look for a zone like this little one down here. That could be a target. So from there to there, because I know price is going to, it's going to reverse. If it comes down here and hits here, a lot of the time it's going to hit that and it's going to come back up. It might not completely reverse, but it's probably going to have a big enough move to where if I don't take profit there, I'm going to watch my, go from up $700 to up $100, and I'm going to freak out, close the trade, and then I'm going to be pissed at myself that I didn't. And so just going from zone to zone or the lows. So this one you could take that, and then as soon as it hits this low, you could take profit, because once it sweeps out all these other lows here, it's going to have a reaction. Most likely, not always, but and a lot can be judged like just how strong it looks. Like I would say this is a pretty strong, like this closure here below these lows, that looks pretty strong. So I'm looking at that too, just to kind of gauge like how confident I am. Yeah, position size is the easiest way. It's really good. Trading view is awesome because you've got this little tool right here, the short position or long position. So if I put this in, I put the reds in my stop loss. So if I entered right after this candle, which is what I would have wanted to do, or even better, this trade was like perfect. So I wanted my stop at the high. If I entered, it's probably right there. So 10.5. That's 10.5 is my stop loss. My take profit would be 22 points. Or this is just for example. That's 2R. So then I can right click this, create limit order, and it literally shows you this would be with 11 micro contracts. So and that would be the stop loss would be $230 and the take profit would be 500. So if my max loss for the day is, say it's $500, I'm probably going to be risking about like $200 to $250 a trade. Um, Depending, I mean, maybe I'm just trying to take one trade and I'm risking $500. So I can just adjust the position size, and then it shows me what the stop loss is. So in general, like being new, I want to keep my position sizing pretty standardized. Like I don't want to be losing $1,000 on one trade and then losing $200 on another trade. But and I'm not quite at this level yet. As some guys that are more advanced, like they know when they see a trade that's like, okay, this is
this is one I need to size up on. Like, it's very obvious. I know this is going to be a home run. I'm super confident in it. Then at that time, you might size up and say, okay, I'm risking 500 instead of 250 this time because I know like this is the one I've been waiting for. So, but super easy on TradingView to do it. If you don't have a tool like this, you kind of have to know the points, and so like each micro contract is, oh gosh, what is it, like two? It's like $2 per point, and then on a full contract it's $20 per point, and so you know like 10, and then 10 micros is one full contract. So yeah, 10 points is $200 with 10 micros, and the math, like, it's actually pretty easy with futures. The math is pretty simple, but it helps a lot to just kind of use that tool and makes things a lot easier. Hunter, are you on a computer or are you on your phone? And can you see? Can Are you able to like actually see the chart very well? And can you hear me very well? So, uh, so it depends on what. I don't know exactly what for sure what you're asking me, but like the brokerage I use, you have to have. I think it's like for micro contracts, you have to have at least $100 per micro contract you trade. So, uh, like to be able to trade 5 Nasdaq micro contracts, you would need $500 in your account. But that's literally if you had $500 in your account, and you traded 5 micros. That's like you would wipe your account out, and maybe like if you took 2 losses, your account's probably wiped out. Uh, and you could wipe it on one loss, like if your stop loss was wide. So and I also trade on like uh, there's like prop firms you can trade with too that allow you to kind of like pass their test or whatever, and then they'll give you leverage to trade with, and that's another option that's like they're pretty predatory. They can like the challenges are tough, and like you could spend a lot of money on them, but if you're good at trading, it can be really beneficial. So like I'm trading one of those right now, and like uh, they give you leverage to trade with. Uh, I had to pay around $200 to get the account, and then I had to pass their evaluation. Once I passed it, now I have. They say you have a $50,000 account. It's really not. It's like a $2,000. It's really a $2,000 account. That's how much drawdown you have. You have $2,500 in drawdown. But then once you build that account up, you get to keep what's in it. So like I've built it up to $10,000, over $10,000 now. So I have that 10,000 as like a buffer that I can trade with, and then you can take out money every 7 days. You can withdraw up to $2,000 from that. So that's another thing. I've got a personal account, and I also trade on that account, and that helps a lot with leverage. But it's one of those things. Like if you start trading with these companies, they want you to lose. Like they want you to spend money with them and lose. So you just have to know that going in, and like don't start doing it early, because if you start trading with them early, it's just like a cycle of pretty much losing, and then they're betting on you to gamble. So uh, just having like a good strategy in place, and like knowing you can execute it and do it like in paper trading first, or a small like personal account, and then that's like another option for futures. I don't know if that made any sense or you've heard of those before, but Okay, I went away for a second, and now gold's going down pretty strong. So, uh, no, nothing is like really in a spot that I'm going to take a trade right now, and I've been on here way too long, and now I'm seeing this like basically went up, cut my stop loss, and then went down a ton, and I would have made a ton of money. So I already know I'm going to be fucked up about this and probably take a dumb trade, and I'm getting impatient. So I'm going to go work out and go to a meeting. And dude, thank you for watching for a little bit.